The following may contain language that is not suitable for all audiences. Hey everybody, thank you for joining us here on the Low Fact Podcast.
You don't get the early part of the conversation, sorry.
Yeah, it was pretty gross anyway. So, Dave and Matt, and here's a question for you, because you seem to know the answer to everything. Oh.
Me?
I don't know. So, why is it, or why do you think it is that validation is so important for so many people?
You know what popped into my head? Because validation proves that you exist in the world. I don't know why that's what popped into my head.
That's a little too deep for me.
Because, like, if people aren't validating you, then do you exist?
That is way too deep for me.
Well, I don't know if that's the answer. That was just what my brain said.
You're so philosophical.
Yes.
I just think that the whole validation thing might be because we're more of a herd than we are the lone independent person. You know, for a group that likes to think of itself, well, there are many members of our group that like to think of themselves as these independent folks, but they just don't seem that independent. They want this agreement, you know. It's like when you're a teenager and there are all those teens like, oh man, I'm so different. I'm new. I'm an individual, but they're all in these cliques of people that think whatever they think. The jockey kids, the gothy kids, the drama club kids. I mean,
yeah,
everybody wants to have their own little circle.
Always.
But why can't we have a circle of people that have differing interests, or you know, that seem superficially different? I don't think that just because you're an athletic type of person, you can't be like a Dungeons and Dragons type of kid as well.
This is true. It's like the people that try and say, oh, you should either go down the science route or the arts route, or the science and math route and the arts route. I mean, there's a big push for that.
Of what?
In education, there was a big push, well, in the last 20 years for specialization. You know, you either go this route or that route. You can't be doing arts and math and science. I'm like, why not?
That's my question. Why not? I'm sure you can.
So you think it's just a herd mentality?
Yes. I mean...
So you think the face masks is about herd mentality?
I think the face mask is just people wanting to do something to get some semblance of control. Because isn't it funny at the very beginning? They're like, oh, don't use the masks. You don't need the masks. And now everybody's like, oh, yeah, have a mask. But don't use the good masks because, you know, that should go to other people.
Right. And I'm like, well, if you've got a good mask, why shouldn't you be able to wear it?
Again, that's not really my place to say. But if you really think that covering your mouth is gonna save you, then, you know, yeah, do it.
Yeah. But you can see people who are wearing the masks being mad at people that aren't wearing masks. Like, I've observed this.
Well, then that's a herd type of thing, isn't it?
You know, it's like...
I mean, if you have a mask on, aren't you protected?
Yeah. But you're not protecting everybody else.
If I'm the only person without a mask on, everybody else has a mask on, then why does it matter?
It shouldn't.
So that's just the whole desire for some kind of conformity.
Most of the people not wearing the masks are younger folks. This is what I've observed in my little microcosm of my neighborhood. So the young and healthy are not wearing the masks. The older folks are wearing masks.
Well, probably because they've got more to lose.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
So you wouldn't make the younger people wear masks?
If the younger people were virulent, then I would make them stay home.
Right. But I don't think any of these people are virulent. I mean, they've probably all been in their houses and now are finally, leaving their houses.
But the whole symptomatic asymptomatic thing is just really kind of tough too. And then then there's the who do you trust?
I don't trust nobody, man.
Oh, that's a lie.
Why is that a lie?
Because it is.
Why would you say that?
Well, I know you.
So who would you think? Who do you think I'm trusting at this point?
You trust whoever it is you trust. Do I need to sit there and point out, well, you trust this person, but don't trust that person? I mean,
so you think I trust my government?
I think you'd be a little foolish to blindly trust any government. And if you do, then that's my answer. Do I think you trust your government? I don't know if you do or you don't, but if you blindly trust them, then you're a bit of a fool.
Fair enough.
But that's just because of the nature of people and governments.
Governments suck.
They have a place and a purpose.
Order.
They have a place and a purpose, and it's up to everyone in the population to police the police.
And what if the police are running amok?
That's what I said. That's why it's up to the populace to police the police.
I don't think there's much policing going on though, Dave.
The governed needs to police the governors.
I understand that. I just don't think there's much policing going on from the governed.
Then that's an issue. And anyone who thinks, oh, the government's there to do blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. No, you have to, as in all of us, really need to keep an eye on the governors.
Well, how are you going to do that if you're stuck in your house?
You can still do that.
Only through what you're able to access online.
Well.
And then if that's all propaganda and bullshit, then you got a problem.
Again, you can do stuff, and you can do stuff peacefully. You can do stuff
unpeacefully.
Well, that is an option that's,
no one wants that option.
A last resort type of thing, but the government, the governors do follow the lead of the populace.
Well, they have to.
Well, they do, unless the populace are a bunch of sheep.
In which case, the governors can just do whatever they like.
Well, that's when they start doing whatever they like. Once they ensure that the populace is sheepish enough, then you're screwed as a populace.
There's always that one sheep, though.
No, there isn't.
Have you ever watched a dog show?
No.
Do you know what a dog show is?
I think so.
There's two different categories. There's the hunt-away dog that
you don't need to
steers the sheep up a hill between fences, and then there's the other one where they have to go through a course, and then you have to put them in a little thing at the end.
Right. Well,
there's always that one sheep that kind of is like stamp that goes for the dog, but then generally the dog will bite that sheep, and then it kind of falls into line.
Well, that's great and everything, but...
So you're saying don't be a sheep, be a wolf?
No, the point is...
If we had video, I'd really love people to see your face right now.
The point is that the populace needs to keep the government in check.
I agree. I just don't think it's going on.
Well, it depends. If the government starts taking away any avenue of you to be able to keep them in check, and you kind of go along with it because you like that idea, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's like the whole if it just saves one life type of thing. The reason I call bullshit on that is because...
Who says that? People say it all the time.
People say it all the time, but, it's usually about some activity that they don't approve of.
Right.
Well, there are plenty of activities that they do approve of that kill more people than whatever it is, the activity that they don't approve of, and yet they're not saying you need to stop that.
Yeah.
Which is why I sit there and say that's bullshit.
It is bullshit. It's just about what they don't like.
Exactly. And they don't want to admit it. And I think that that's basically the way our society is right now. I don't know if that's the way it's always been, but it's basically you come to a conclusion that you like, and then you just disregard all the inconvenient stuff and latch onto the stuff that supports your conclusion. And that's a backwards way of thinking of things. It's definitely not smart, but, it is about control at that point.
That just makes me angry.
Well, it makes me angry too, because coercion is not the way to do things. Is that where we're ending?
I like it.
Well, that's where we're ending then.
With that little pithy piece of wisdom,
The script supervisor has decided that time has come to an end. So thank you all.